case study tracing a missing medical volunteer, South Sudan client background. A UK-based medical charity contacted Bond Rees to locate a missing medical volunteer who had gone silent while providing healthcare services in South Sudan. The volunteer, a nurse with experience in conflict zones, was part of a team offering medical aid in remote villages in the Upper Nile region, an area affected by ongoing conflict and limited access to essential services. The charity grew increasingly concerned when the volunteer missed several scheduled check-ins and did not respond to satellite phone calls for over a week, especially given the high security risks and challenging conditions. The Investigation Bond Rees began by gathering all available information, including the volunteer's planned route, last known location, and recent communications. The volunteer was last seen in Malakal, where they were coordinating with local health workers to deliver medical supplies and conduct mobile clinics in several nearby villages. The last communication from the volunteer was a satellite phone call to the charity, confirming their departure with a small convoy to a village further north along the White Nile. Digital footprint and local contacts. Our digital forensics team conducted a comprehensive analysis of the volunteer's digital footprint, including satellite phone records, GPS data, and recent messages. The last known signal from the volunteer's satellite phone was detected near a road outside Malakal, but all communication ceased afterward. This raised concerns about a possible detainment, an ambush by armed groups, or equipment failure in a highly volatile area. Bond Rees reached out to local contacts, including other NGOs, local community leaders, and international peacekeeping forces, to gather more information. Several contacts reported that the convoy carrying the volunteer had passed through a known checkpoint, but had not been seen at any of the scheduled villages. On-the-ground investigation in South Sudan. Given the sensitive and high-risk environment, Bond Rees deployed local investigators experienced in conflict zones to conduct discreet inquiries. Our team coordinated with local contacts, including humanitarian workers, UN peacekeepers, and community leaders, to gather intelligence on the convoy's movements and possible whereabouts. After several days of investigation, we discovered that the convoy had been stopped by an armed group near a contested area outside Malakal. Further inquiries revealed that the volunteer and their team had been detained by the armed group on suspicion of espionage, a common accusation in conflict zones. The group had taken them to an undisclosed location for interrogation, and due to the tense security situation, there had been no communication with their organization or other humanitarian partners. Outcome Bond Rees quickly confirmed the volunteers' detention and relayed this critical information to the medical charity in the UK. The charity, with support from international human rights organizations and diplomatic channels, initiated urgent negotiations for the volunteers' release. After several days of careful negotiations and pressure from international stakeholders, the volunteer and their team were released and safely transported to a secure location, eventually returning to Malakal and then to the UK. Why Bond Rees? This case demonstrated Bond Rees's expertise in locating missing persons in conflict-affected and high-risk environments like South Sudan. By leveraging local intelligence, discreet inquiries, and coordination with international organizations, Bond Rees ensured the safe recovery of the missing medical volunteer. Our commitment to supporting NGOs and humanitarian organizations in protecting their personnel and ensuring their safety in the most volatile and dangerous situations remains unwavering and resolute.